You are on the John Fredericks Media Network, and I am your Godzilla of the truth in America. You're an outside the Beltway, and I am trucking the truth every day. Great to have you with us, TGIF. As always, joining us now is Rhyen. I hope I'm saying your first name right. Is it Rhyen or Rhyen?
It's Rhyen.
Rhyen. Okay, we got Rhyen Staley, not the former football coach of the Chargers. He sucked. You're better. Guy was horrible. I think he's offensive coordinator. Somebody now. I'm happy the Titans don't have him. We got enough bad things going on there. He's the research director at Defending Education, and he's here to talk about educating school districts, passing resolutions. You can't make this stuff up, and guidance on district policies related to immigration and border control.
Yeah, you know what?
Let me even say this with a straight face. We got principals now issuing guidance on like political policy of the current presidential administration. I mean, you cannot make this stuff up. This country is so ridiculous, dude. Go ahead.
Well, let me start by connecting the dots between Susie, what you were she was talking about with, loving their students. Teachers love their students. So I want to set that aside for a moment, because what we do at Defending Ed is we try to help parents and communities connect the dots. And when we started seeing these policies, first of all, it didn't shock us because it's very much a political play, correct? I mean, Plyler versus Doe says since 1980 that these schools have to take in immigrants regardless of immigration status and educate them. And so what we see, when I put this document together, I noticed that the pattern is these policies started popping up 2016 after the election of Donald Trump, and then they accelerated over time. One of the biggest states that had throughout the state is California. And so a lot of these policies are very, very much virtue signaling. And what it does is it takes away the focus of what really needs to be happening with our schools, which is educating the students. And to be honest with you, John, these schools in some regards have been put in a really bad place because of policies of past administrations. You look at data out of Denver, and in the last couple of years since the Biden administration left the border wide open, they've had an increase of hundreds and hundreds of students of origin from Venezuela. And then you saw during the end of the Biden administration, major issues erupting in Aurora and other places in Colorado over, gang members out of Venezuela. And so it's no coincidence that these policies are starting to pop up with the Trump administration, especially their crackdown on illegal immigrants. One of the things I want to also point out to the listening audience is these policies often operate, and by the way, this is heavily driven by the teachers union. So let's not forget that. And we see that teachers unions are in the front and center with these protests in Minnesota, in California, and in Chicago. But these policies, they often operate with things that have not even happened and aren't happening. For example, they claim that if ICE agents barge into schools and start arresting children, Wake County schools policy, the official policy from Wake County in North Carolina, even admits they have zero evidence that this has even happened. And so it's all just a smoke and mirrors to continue to virtue signal to their radical base that they're on their team.
Did you ever think you'd grow up in a time where you've got like high school principals and middle school principals taking political positions and feeding it to their students and sanctioning what was it, walkout protest over certain political stuff that was not organic? It's one thing. Correct. If you get elected, in your high school or your middle school, you get elected, what is a class president, right? I mean, my older guy did that in middle school. He got elected class president. They made a speech and they had ballots and stuff. It was fun. So he was class president. It's one thing if your student union goes to the principal and says, we have a majority of students, or we have a number of students that would like 15 minutes to protest something going on because we're engaged and we're now old enough to understand what's going on, and can we do that? Okay, fine. That's one discussion, but it's another discussion to say over the PA system, we're having a protest today at 12:15. Anybody want to show up? You can go out in the courtyard. We got signs for you, and you can sign up and be one of their foot soldiers. And hey, after you get out of high school, they have jobs available at protest.org. It's $20 an hour. I mean, it's insane.
And I'm glad you kind of transitioned there, because what we also have exposed recently is that these outside nonprofits that are well funded by groups like Soros and Ford Foundation, Arabella Advisors, and they're coming into these schools, and they have clubs inside these schools, and they're training these children to do these protests.
It's
and
called indoctrination, baby. Look, we got to go, but stay with us, because we got to get into indoctrination. I think we've got Craig Rucker coming up, so we'll put you guys in a 2-box. And it's crazy, man. It is crazy. It's an indoctrination of our children. And then we got to talk about what they did in Virginia. Guess what they mandated there? Oh, that's next. Stay with us. I'll be right back. Plus your calls, 888-480-JOHN. Now you're on the John Fredericks Media Network and the John Fredericks Radio apps, and great to have you with us. As always, rocking and rolling. We're going to go back with Rhyen Staley here in a minute. But breaking news, President Trump moments ago has announced that he is nominating former Federal Reserve Governor Kevin Warsh as the next Fed chairman after Jerome Powell's term ends in May. Not a moment too soon. Don't let the door hit you in the ass on the way out. Here's your hat. What's your hurry? If you want to leave early, and that's fine with us too. You can go this afternoon for all I care. President Trump putting out a Truth Social. I am pleased to announce that I am nominating Kevin Warsh to be the chairman of the board of governors of the Federal Reserve System. He put this on Truth Social. He said, Kevin currently serves as the Shepherd Family Distinguished Visiting Fellow in Economics at the Hoover Institution and lecturer at Stanford Graduate School of Business. He is a partner of Stanley Druckenmiller of Duquesne Family Office, LLC. He says Kevin Warsh became the youngest Fed governor, and at 35, and served as a member of the Board of Governors of the Federal Reserve System. Now, we knew this was coming. He said 2 days ago it would be at the end of it would be a week, and then it was a day, and then it was this morning. So he moved it up. Obviously, he made his mind up, and when the president makes up his mind, he likes to move on it. A lot of people thought, as I did, that Kevin Hastert was the favorite for this. We thought that because Hastert was doing a lot of media, and I'm a big Kevin Hastert fan. He's always in a good mood. He's always smiling. He's very intelligent. Probably has the same issues as Warsh, but I think the president wanted somebody that he thought that knew his way around the Fed, was a Fed governor, and could probably command the majority there that he's going to need within the governors to get the rate reductions that he wants. Certainly Kevin Hastert would have done that, but I think that is the direction the president has gone in. And Hastert did a lot of media over the last, 45 days. I mean, every time I turned around, he was on something. So he was out at the Sticks at the White House. The Sticks are what we call where they set up. You have the Pebble Beach, which are the tents when you come into the media area. Before you get into the press briefing room, they set Sticks up kind of on the driveway there. There are a bunch of microphones, and people come out and they'll gaggle for 5, 10, 15 minutes. So we did a lot of that. Did a lot of interviews in the tents live, and was all over the media. So, but Hastert not getting the job that he wanted. President obviously made up his mind up to go with Warsh, who we thought was an underdog a couple of weeks ago, but is chosen today and nominated. He will sail through because he's a former Fed governor. That might have been the other thing. He didn't really want to fight, I guess, with his Senate that this has to be confirmed, and it's tough not to confirm somebody that was a former governor. So Warsh is going to sail through, and that's that, and not a moment too soon. So we're excited about that pick, and we're excited about interest rates coming down. This is going to be critical as we get into moving into the summer and try to get the economy booming in order to have a chance to win the midterms. Having said all that, let's get back to our good friend Rhyen Staley here. Rhyen, we got Virginia passing laws that basically, they have to be taught about, about different things that have nothing to do with education. You have to be taught about LGBTQ. I mean, this is like a curriculum. Like if you're in Virginia now, you have to be taught that it's, that there's the LGBTQ community and you got to know what it is. And you got to, I don't know, wear a pink hat or something. That's what you got to be taught. And you got to be taught that it's okay for guys to go in girls' bathrooms and it's okay to be a squirrel or a furry or whatever the hell they're talking about. Hey, time to homeschool in Virginia. That's all I can say.
Yeah, this is another example of the ecosystem that these radical leftists have been creating since the 1960s, believe it or not, because we're talking about people like the Weather Underground leaving their radical ends and going into the colleges of education. And then over the decades, they've infiltrated the college of education, what the teachers themselves are being taught and trained in. And then eventually we get to the point now where these universities are openly stating that their primary goal of educating teachers is to turn them into social justice activists. And the actual teaching of reading and math, et cetera, is just kind of an afterthought with this stuff. And so your point about this LGBT curriculum is one example. I'll give you another one. On the West Coast, especially, and now in Minnesota, you have a mandated curriculum called ethnic studies. And I'm telling you, it's going to start popping up in Virginia, especially places like Fairfax and Loudoun. And what it is they coat this program as history and culture because they're very good at fluffing up and making it hard to attack these things. Like, you don't want to teach history, you don't want to teach culture. But what it really is a far left political programming to train these children to be street activists. And that's not hyperbole. I can prove it with documentation. In fact, I pulled a model lesson plan yesterday from an organization that trains teachers, and it was about how students create demands of what they're protesting. And so we see this play out in Minneapolis, where the University of Minnesota created free lesson plans for teachers, and one of them is a 6th grade lesson plan on how to make BLM protest art. Well, why would you train children to do that if you don't want them to execute those things? Because of course that's the goal. In fact, that's the end goal of these curriculums. And by the way, you can apply that to these LGBT curriculums. You can apply that to the Black Lives Matter stuff, which is going to be coming up at your child's school very, very soon. And it's all the same thing.
We've got this indoctrination. It's been going on, it started at the colleges. And it's been going on now, and now it's seeped its way down into elementary school, right? So it's a complete takeover by the left, by the communist color revolutionist, which was their goal from the beginning. Infiltrate the college campuses. It started in post-secondary. It started in graduate school because that was easier. Infiltrate that. Then it went down to then it went down to secondary education. Then it went to upper class in high school. Now it's down to kindergarten. I mean, they got the whole gamut now.
Right.
How do we get a way out of this? I mean, we're getting our kids indoctrinated from the time they're 6. How do we stop this?
Yeah, that's a great question. Stuff that we're working on at Defending Ed, and your listeners can go to defendinged.org to get more information, not just about the bad stuff, but the things we're trying to do. And we're trying to empower parents and the communities to get active, because that's what the left has been very, very good at, is being very active, very vocal. And a lot of times it's a very small minority. We saw an article this morning that a school district in Connecticut, a handful of parents in the PTA got the Linda McMahon's visit, the Department of Education's visit to their school stopped. And it was just a small minority of people that raised their voice and got vocal. And we need to do the same. And that's one small piece, right? I mean, this has been going on for a long time. We have to attack the universities and draw them back and get them back to their purpose. There's been a lot of calls for the College of Education to just go. And so there's a lot of these issues, and it's very hard to tackle it as a holistic thing. And so what we're trying to do is we're trying to get at these things in small parts. And number one, first and foremost, is educate people. You'd be surprised, John, at how many people they're not stupid. They have no idea this stuff is even happening, right? And that includes teachers. There are a lot of teachers who they just want to go to school. They just want to teach. They want to get out. They're not highly active, but they don't realize that they're steeped in a lot of this stuff.
Well, I mean, the concern is the left, the color revolutionary communist, they have now infiltrated all levels of public education. I mean, it's a trifecta. I mean, they've done it all. They started this many years ago. They had a vision. It's passed through generations, different people, and now they're right there. I mean, everybody's indoctrinated now, and that is why that is why you're getting what you're seeing. It's there's also though a reverberation to that. Like everything has a boomerang effect, right? That's why the number of Zoomers, young people coming to Christ and becoming conservatives, especially the males, is off the charts. So there's been there's a backlash now. How long we can sustain that, I do not know. But and this is why I predicted that left wing legislatures around the country, as they have tried to stamp out charter schools, vouchers, and things of that nature, they're going to start putting the screws on homeschoolers because that is the parents' way out. I mean, it's as simple as that. You know, I mean, we have 3 children. Our first 2 are older. We sent them to public school. God was still there. They still, said the Pledge of Allegiance. And we thought, public school's fine. I think we were in Roswell, Georgia at the time. That's where they grew up, went to high school. By the time my little guy got out of the 2nd grade, like there was no way we could send him to a public school. We sent him to Catholic school. Like no shot, because it had changed. He's 21 and my youngest daughter's 35, right? Or 30, 34. So there's a 33. So there was a 12-year difference. In the 12 years, we couldn't send our youngest son to public school in that 12-year period. And we had no money back then. So, I mean, I don't even know how we did. We gave up everything. Couldn't send him to public school. I mean, and he's 21 now. I can't imagine trying to send your kid to a public school now. I just couldn't imagine it. Rhyen, people want to follow you. Where do they go?
They go to defendinged.org. That's defendinged.org.
Defendinged.org. Thank you.